Howdy y'all, Jackson here with Ictric Studios, and welcome back to the long overdue next edition of the historic college football playoff, this one for the 1960 college football season, which was in fact a viewer suggestion. So as always, if you have a season you'd like to see a college football playoff done for, just leave in the comments and I will get to it as fast as possible. Now let's hop right into it. We will kick things off in Dallas, Texas, as the number 2 Rebels of Ole Miss take on the number 3 Iowa Hawkeyes in the Cotton Bowl Classic. And it would be those Rebels that would get on the scoreboard first, as Hoss Anderson would bounce this handoff outside, making his way into the end zone untouched, taking a 7-0 lead midway through the first quarter. Early in the second though, the Hawkeyes would respond, as Larry Ferguson would go right up the middle and plow his way into the end zone for 6, a score that would stick as they'd missed the point after. Up 1 late in the third, Billy Ray Adams would go right up the middle for Ole Miss and extend the Rebel lead. To follow, the Rebels would also miss the point after, but it would be of no consequence, as the number 2 Rebels come away with a 13-6 victory over Iowa to advance the national championship in the Orange Bowl. We now head westward to the Pacific coast of Pasadena, California for the Rose Bowl to see who the Rebels will be taking on, as the number 1 Minnesota Golden Gophers take on the number 4 Navy Midshipmen. And it would be the Golden Gophers that would come out swinging to start the game, as they'd march right down the field on their opening drive and cap it off, as Roger Haigberg would make several men miss on his way to the end zone for an early lead. The Midshipmen would not be deterred though, as they'd put together a drive of their own later in the first, and they'd tie things up as Joe Belligno would easily make his way into the end zone from 2 yards out. After heading into halftime tied 7-all, Navy would come out hot to start the second half, as they'd soon take the lead as Hal Spooner would rocket in a pass to Jim Looper to take a 1-score lead. Then late in the fourth they'd put a dagger in it, as Joe Matalavage would spin his way into a 2-score lead for the Midshipmen. And that would do it, as the Midshipmen come away from Pasadena with a 20-7 Rose Bowl victory, and a ticket to take on the number 2 Ole Miss Rebels in the Orange Bowl for the 1960 National Championship. Quickly before we head on to that national championship, I'd just like to ask you, if you have enjoyed the video, to please leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Now on to the Orange Bowl. 1 week after seeing both the Ole Miss Rebels and the Navy Midshipmen punch their ticket to the national championship, we now find ourselves at Lockhart Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as those number 2 Ole Miss Rebels take on those number 4 Navy Midshipmen for the right to call themselves the 1960 national champion in the Orange Bowl. And it would be the Midshipmen who would strike first, as Spooner would get the ball out to Belligno on a pitch-out, who'd get a nice downfield block to let him trot into the end zone for a Navy lead. It would be short-lived though, as later in the first, Anderson would go right up the middle for the Rebels from 2 yards out to knot things up at 7. However, midway through the second, Navy would respond, as Spooner would utilize a fake option to draw the Rebel defense forward, before finding Looper in the end zone to reclaim the lead. After a scoreless third, and now time ticking away in the fourth, the Rebels would face a 4th and long. However, instead of just looking for the first, quarterback Jake Gibbs would look for it all, throwing up a jump ball into the end zone, where Bobby Crespino would come down with it, leaving them just the point after to tie things up. Unfortunately, the jitters would reach the Rebel kicker, and he doinked the point after off the right goalpost, leaving it a 1-point game with very little time remaining. And after a failed onside, Navy would easily run out the clock to come away with a 14-13 Orange Bowl victory, and the right to call themselves the 1960 national champion. Thank you all for watching another edition of the Historic College Football Playoff. I'd like to take a quick moment to apologize for the gap between uploads. I planned on only taking a 2-week break before starting the new year, but then some life stuff happened and I got sick, so here I am a month later without any uploads to start the new year, and for that I'd like to apologize and say sorry. Now with that out of the way, as always, if you liked the video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell if you have not already. And once again, if you have a season in which you'd like to see a college football playoff, just leave it in the comment section and I will get to it as soon as possible. Thank you all for watching. Bye.